Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the corporate world. Today we're diving into a Form 8K filing from VOLITIONRX LTD, which sounds like a superhero's secret lab. But spoiler alert, it's about company shares and votes, so maybe less exciting than saving the world, but crucial for investors' act. This report is like the minutes of a company meeting, and one big focus of this report is about big changes coming due to a shareholder vote. But before we get started, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you are subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below. This Form 8K is like a snapshot of key events that VOLITIONRX, a company in the business of detecting diseases, wants to share with its investors. It is a way of staying up to date regarding company changes. The date on the report is June 18, 2025. The company's official name is VOLITIONRX Limited, and they're incorporated in Delaware. Their headquarters are in Henderson, Nevada. The main highlight here is that VOLITIONRX had their annual meeting where stockholders, the people who own shares in the company, made some important decisions. One of those big decisions was to approve a change to the company's rules for the restated certificate, also known as their restated charter. The company decided to increase the number of shares they are authorized to issue from 175 million to 325 million. That's a big jump. This means they potentially will be able to sell many more shares in the future. This change increasing their allowed shares was okayed by VOLITIONRX's board of directors around April earlier in the year, but it needed the stockholders to give their final approval, which they did at this meeting. There were a few votes that took place at the annual meeting. The meeting happened almost immediately after the date of the filing Tefton 775. 34 shares available on April 25, the date that determined who could vote at the meeting. In the end, around 51,035 shares were voted either in person or via proxy, which is when someone assigns their voting rights to someone else. First up was electing the board of directors. Stockholders voted to elect 8 people to the board for the next year. Here are some that were elected. Dr. Philip Barnes received 35,018, Shaw receiving 1 votes for. Dr. Alan Coleman received 35,024,253 votes and 22 votes for, and Mickey Henshaw received 35,000, 3063, 5,000, 3063, 5,000. 18 Henshaw received 35,034 for. Dr. Alan Coleman received 35,046, 35,034, the 6 type 140 elected. Dr. Philip Barnes received 35,340. 63, 5,340, 63, 5,363, 5,034 votes for what 8 nominees in total, and all were elected. Next, stockholders voted to ratify, which means approve the selection of Sadler, Gibbon Associates LLC as the company's accounting firm for the year. And happily for the accounting firm, the stockholders agreed that Sadler, Gibbon Associates LLC should be the company accountants. 51,261,261,261,851 voted no, and 120,61,851 voted against, and 42,851 voted against, and 40,20,721 voted against, and 42,821 voted 21, 40 against, and 42,721 voted against, and 42,821 voted against, and 42,821 voted against, and 42,021 voted against, and 42,821 voted against, and 42,829. The third vote was a non-binding advisory about the compensation or salary of VOLITIONRX's top executives. Non-binding advisory means that the company doesn't have to actually change anything based on this vote, but it's a way for stockholders to share their thoughts on whether they think the executives are being paid fairly. Here, 34-2 abstained and 145 rate abstained and 1452 voted against, 2023 voted 3. Here, 34 the advisory vote before 2,343 voted 2, 30 voted all. The advisory vote was in favor of the prior executives. The final vote was about the second amendment to the restated certificate, which we talked about earlier. Did the stockholders agree to authorize more shares? Here, 49,458 voted and 520 abstained. So yes, the stockholders approved the company being able to issue more shares, which then directly lead to the amendment. This report was signed off by Cameron Reynolds, who's the Chief Executive Officer and President of VOLITIONRX Limited. Now, what does all of this mean? Increasing the number of authorized shares is a significant move. It gives VolitionRX more flexibility to raise money in the future by issuing and selling new shares. It's like expanding their credit line at the bank. However, it could also dilute the value of existing shares, because theoretically each share will then control a smaller amount of the ownership of the company. The votes at the annual meeting covered important governance topics, with all board members being elected. The report indicates that VolitionRX is following standard corporate procedures. VolitionRX seems to be setting the stage for potential fundraising activities. Whether this is a good thing depends on how the company uses the additional capital. If they invest it wisely and it pays off with new breakthroughs, then it could boost growth. The company's main risk is that the company may not use the funds properly, or the market may not react positively to additional stock sales, causing diluted value of stocks and investors losing money. Alright, that's our breakdown of VolitionRX's recent events. What's your take on these moves and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out our Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.